Hi there, this is Alyssa from Unbusy, where I teach you how to simplify your home, create routines that work for you as a work-at-home mom, and uplevel your work-from-home mindset. You're in for a treat today because this is actually a live coaching call. Hannah is a homeschooling mom with a lot going on. So on this call, we're going to map out a plan for her to choose some priorities, stick to them, and avoid all the distractions that come her way. And if you want a call just like this, but tailored to you and your problems, fill out the quick application to get started working with me, because I want you to be an amazing work-at-home mom and actually be able to get everything done. So let's make sure you truly love your work-at-home mom life. Head on over to the link below and let's make it happen. So hi, Hannah. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Give me the 2-minute brain dump on your distraction prioritization issues.
Oh my word. So basically I started, I kind of now am over 2 nonprofits that are like homeschool enrichment programs. One, I'm like more of the bookkeeper now instead of the director, and the other one I'm the director. My husband just started his own business a few months ago, so I'm jumping in to help him with all the marketing stuff. And then of course I homeschool and I have 4 kids, and yeah, that summarizes it. And I have kind of a squirrel problem of lack of focus, and so I will start something and then immediately, see something else that needs to be done. And knowing how my brain works, I mean, it's terrible. It's like a vicious cycle. I'll stop because I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to forget to go do that. And so I'll go do that thing. And then, oh my goodness, right? And then it's like 15 minutes later, I'll come back to whatever I was working on. And so yeah, just with homeschooling, it's super frustrating. And I've gotten a little better lately. But yeah, it's just frustrating because I can't seem to get things done that I know I need to get done.
You have a lot going on. So first of all, congratulations, you're handling it. You're not sounding really stressed. It's just wanting to have an even better handle on it.
Yes.
So first off, do you have a routine or set times you're homeschooling? And is that something you're happy with, the homeschooling part of your life?
No, that's probably my biggest thing. So my kids' ages are 9, 7, 5, and 3. And right now I've tried multiple different things the last few months, but I have really decided, I have let go of being done by lunch. Like, that is not just a realistic thing for us in this season. I don't think it ever has been for me, but just all of my kids and my 3-year-old, we're just doing barely anything, but she still wants to do something. Like, she is the one who's coming to me, and it's really cute. But all of my top 3, and my 9-year-old definitely has some things that she goes off and can do by herself. But for the most part, I'm still very hands-on in their homeschooling. And so, yeah, like I try to, around 9-ish or something, and just kind of hit it till lunchtime, whenever we get a stopping point. I'm not, schedules are hard for me and routines are hard for me, which is why I need help. But, and then my little one would go down for a nap after lunch. And so when she's down for a nap, then I finish what other homeschooling. But I mean, we could drag it out till 3, just depending on nap time and people's moods and what I'm distracted with. And so I hate that. That's like what I hate. I'm like, what's the point of homeschooling if it's still taking us till 3 o'clock to get done? So either like I'd like to get it all done in the afternoon, which I've tried that and that doesn't work, because my kids are done, we're all done, like decision fatigue or something. And so I want to be done as much as possible in the morning, but I also I don't really think it's realistic for 2 hours to get everything in, with the amount of help my kids still need with their stuff. Like, if I had older kids, I can definitely see that happening, but just not right now.
Okay, yes, definitely some common points, since we get in big decision fatigue mode over here as well. Certainly by 1 p.m. and a lot of times the older kids with the algebra and stuff by 12, they're like, I don't really want to think anymore.
Yes.
And then I don't want to think for all the grading that happens
Oh
because it's
my,
like, it's rounds. You help them through it, but then you have to grade it and then you have to help
yes.
them fix it again. So, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, a couple ideas for you. If the homeschooling is really what takes the brain power versus like chores and keeping up the house, can you shift that a little bit earlier in the morning to start so that when you're brain dead, you're dealing with laundry and supper and anything like that?
Right.
I don't know how early you're getting up in the morning and when you're, all dressed, ready to face the day type of a thing.
That's a good idea. My kids are usually, I mean, I try right now to get up around 6:30, and that's the first time since I've had kids like consistently been able to get up early because I'm not breastfeeding or, all the no sleep things. So, and that's been great. That's kind of when I have, quiet time, and then just random kind of jot down what I need to get done for the day. But then, yeah, my kids are up by, 7:15, 7:30. And it's just kind of from there on out, I just feel like it's crazy. But my daughter, even this morning, was like, can we start school early? And I was like, whoa, it's before breakfast. It like threw me off. But I was like, maybe, if I could get a couple subjects out while they're awake, because my other two sleep in. And we don't do like everyone sits down at breakfast at the same time. But we do come together at the breakfast table. So yeah, that's a good idea. Are you talking just like starting like right after breakfast or?
Yeah, kind of right after breakfast or before, depending on what works for people's energy. Do they need food first before they can think, or they like get a jump on it and then I eat breakfast? That seems to be very kid to kid
Right.
dependent. But if you were able to start that a little bit earlier, I think that might help. Obviously, then you're not having, you said the two kids sleep in more. So it's not like you've got everyone at once.
Right.
So that might even make it a little bit calmer in comparison to what's usually going on in the house to only have the two of them, I'm thinking.
Right.
Are
Yeah.
those the two that need the most help or the most independent, or which two?
It's my two oldest. And
Okay.
so, yeah, that's the, I could get them like started on something, but
Mhm.
yeah, my youngest is the next one up. And it's usually, I really only have about 15, 20 minutes between the time they get up and she gets up. So it would have to be, so usually, I mean, I spend that time because, yeah, I'm also not getting all my work done or getting to do anything that I actually want to do during the day done. So I've been trying to think like, well, maybe I'll use that time to work out or um, because everyone's just kind of waking up and it just, I don't know, it all of a sudden goes by and it's like 9:30 and I'm like, wait, I got up early and I still haven't gotten anything done. So that's an idea to try.
Yeah, because you'd probably feel a little happier if you just had the older two get started on something and then they're going to turn some schoolwork in. It doesn't feel like, oh, nothing's happening. And then you can go start with the next set of kids that are getting up. So it's more like the pieces are progressively getting done for the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, do you feel like, and I know you have 5 kids, but, and I know ages are different, but as far as like realistic, and every kid's different, so maybe this isn't a great question, but, um, I mean, I should be getting done by lunch or around lunch. I mean, I feel like most homeschool families that I talk to they're like, oh yeah, we're done by lunch. And I'm just like, how does that happen? So
I think you have to start by like 8 to
yeah.
get done by lunch when you've
Okay.
got a lot of kids that need hands-on
Yes.
help. Since yes, you're completely right. Older kids, yes, you can kind of be like, go do this, the routine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I keep telling myself, I mean, homeschooling subjects will get harder as they get older. But I was like, I think it'll just be, yeah. I mean, I was homeschooled all the way growing up. And I remember, yeah, just doing my own thing and my mom checking it. And
Yeah, same here.
oh, yay. So I'm like, I don't know. Obviously, I was older if I have all those memories. So I'm just, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Trying
that
to-
switch to the independent, at least please read the lesson on your own and see if you can do it instead of making me teach the entire thing to you first is
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. No, and I'm like, we still take like 30 minutes for some math lessons, not all, but I was just laughing the other day. People were like, oh yeah, I'm done with math in like 15 minutes. And I'm like, well,
How?
okay, I'm not like, and today even it was a long math day and that is so draining to me. I'm not a math person. So I'm always like, I want to do art with the kids, but I never even do that because we're just trying to get the core subjects down. Like I need my kids to at least do basic math and know how to read, and then it'll be good. But that's like a frustrating part. It's like the reason I homeschooled was for all this freedom, but we're still not getting it all done. And I'm definitely not getting to do, like I want to write and do art and stuff.
Mhm.
But I just go from that to like cleaning the house, and yeah, it's just madness. But
Yes. And actually, we do have very similar age kids because I've got a 9 and a 6 and a 3 as well. So,
okay. Yes, you know how it goes. Okay, so how old is your oldest then?
so then I've also got a 12 and 14.
Okay.
So they're
Yeah,
the pre-algebra and algebra people.
which that's when you said that, my mind just went blank.
Well, I
Like,
actually found that buying the teacher answer keys really speeds up math. It took me so many
okay.
years.
Yes. I don't even think I'll have yeah, that will be 100% what I buy first. So.
Yes, can't recommend it well enough or highly enough. Okay, so yes, maybe getting the oldest two started a little bit. And then yes, it's tough having two kids in the hands-on stage. Right now I only have one, so
Yeah,
but yeah.
it is.
And is it intensive hands-on, like for 2 hours, you're pretty much like
Oh.
dealing with homeschooling, or is it this on off that you can be interrupted at any minute when they have a question for you?
Yeah, no, it's definitely like constant interruptions. And like the little one, um, I mean, she's just in and out, and she's such a sweet, baby of the family. Everyone likes
Mm-hmm.
her to be
And she's
around,
like, I want to do school too. Same for my 3-year-old.
Yeah,
Yes. So we just set her up
yeah.
and tell her, here's your coloring book, go color stuff.
Yes, and that's some great ideas. I mean, like yeah, we do little basic counting and stuff, so she feels like she has time. And then and I mean they play so great together. I really can't complain. And I mean they're so close in age, like they're best friends most of the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they usually are helpful in that way, like they distract her while I'm working one-on-one with someone else. But
Which is always great. Yeah.
yeah.
So do you think some of the housework stuff could fit in there? That it's probably important enough you would get back to, oh, shoot, mommy, I need more help explaining math. Okay, stop the laundry, go deal with that person, get back to it. That kind of a stop and drop. It's not, if you're not cooking on the stovetop, you can kind of deal with some of the food prep and set down the knife and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I think I've been trying to like protect because how my brain works is, and this is very recent, like as in 2 weeks ago, you can ask Ashley. I've been trying to really protect my mornings of because yeah, the problem is I'll get on my phone because I am getting a lot of text messages. It's not as much like social media, although that's my like, oh, I just need a mental break and I'll scroll or something randomly. But most of the time, like 90% of the time, I'll get a text from a parent from one of our programs, or just somebody that needs something. And I used to kind of just stop and drop and do whatever they were asking for instead of what I was actually doing with the kids. It just honestly was like a wake up call a few weeks ago. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm like giving my time away to everyone else, and I'm not giving it to my kids or to myself. And so I've tried to be better about just putting my phone like out of sight. So when I do get all the text messages or something, I just don't even look at them. But yeah, I can't, like, back to your, like, I can't be doing laundry and teaching the kids. Like I have to have this very like focused I need to be like in our little room doing school with them, because if I get up and do, and I will, like if I hear the dryer go off, I'm like, great, I can throw, something in. But then it's like on the way to the dryer, I see trash on the floor or something unswept. And I'm like, oh, I'll just sweep that up. And then I'll start sweeping. And it's like this maddening, crazy person. And I'm sure I'm ADHD or something, undiagnosed. Um, so then by the time I do the laundry and swept the floor on the way there and dusted something, I'm sure on the way back, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's 30 minutes and now it's lunchtime and she's outside playing. And so, I mean, that's how like dysfunctional I can be. So I've been trying to like, okay, you can't don't look at the trash or don't look at this, and just kind of focus on what we need to do and then just get it done. But
okay, so it sounds like multitasking does not work for your brain. You
no,
need that
it does not.
focused.
It does not.
I'm schooling the kids time. And just like you and Ashley were talking about, it's no. I am home educating. This is a priority. Like this is the mini part-time job. I take it seriously. And I show up for those hours, as if it were a real job kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if you have good advice on like kind of compartmentalizing or making like routines for, the laundry, or for like knowing I can't multitask. Even my husband told me that last night as I was trying to talk business with him and send an email to my other nonprofit thing. He's like, can you just not, because he's like, you're not even making sense. And so I would love like routine ideas or.
Okay, so if squirrel brain for you means you get distracted, would it help to have things like laundry, trash, cleaning, floors, whatever done before you sat down for that intensive homeschooling time with the younger kids so that it couldn't distract you, basically?
So, okay, that is a great thing. So I tried morning chores for me and the kids because I am it's funny, I'm not like an anal, I feel like, person, but I think it's like when I see something that needs to be done, I just want to do it right then. And so if I see dirty dishes, I have to go do them right now. It's super weird. And that does not mean my house is clean. Anyone listening to this, don't think that. It's actually just like half clean and then half unclean because I don't actually finish cleaning anything. So, yes and no. So like my problem is it's like pulling a thread. So like I'll start the dishes, but then the counters really need to be cleaned off. And I think it's honestly, I want to like distract myself from starting homeschooling or starting whatever is the thing I'm not looking forward to that day. Like the kids have been kind of edgy and I've been edgy and I don't really want to go do homeschool. So I'll just clean because that's kind of like peaceful for me sometimes. Hashtag sometimes. Not always, but you know what I mean? It's just kind of like a weird, and it's something good, but then it's, you can make something good ungood.
Well, how about we gave you a time block every morning?
Okay.
It is just your absolutely squirrel brain run wild. Go sit around, do dishes in the sink, go around the house actively looking for what's out of place. You're like, ooh, must do that. Ooh, must do that. Like, if you naturally want to do this, why don't we make it work for you? Because some women have to really motivate themselves to clean anything. Yes, sometimes you're using it to avoid homeschooling, but ultimately you're getting things done, and that's important. And that's kind of the way you like to function. So why don't we just like give you a thing in your schedule that says, absolutely, this is my run free, pull the thread. Oh, the counter's dirty too. Oh, never mind. I got that. Could something like that happen when your kids haven't started homeschooling yet? Since there's always when they get up and get dressed and eat breakfast and stuff like that. Once if it's chaos on their part, you can do chaos on your part and only yours is tidying up the chaos.
Yes.
Chaos and counter chaos.
Ooh,
entropy.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. That's a good idea. No, and I hadn't really thought of giving myself like specific time to clean because it's always, I never have enough time, right, to get it all clean. And that's an unrealistic expectation on my part. But if I had maybe like 20 minutes or something, just kind of, I would have to set, like, I'm big into setting timers if I remember to actually set a timer.
Well, do you have a planner, or do you write lists for yourself? How do you
I'm
do that?
better with lists. Yeah, I don't have a planner. I have bought multiple planners and then I've never written in them.
Well, I don't use planners myself. I just use to-do lists. So can
Yeah.
you like every day write on your to-do list, set 25-minute or 30-minute timer for cleaning, or, whatever you want to title this.
Okay.
And then that way it is actually on and you don't have to hope that you'll remember.
That's good. Yeah. No, I definitely am taking that note. Cause yeah, I think that's really where I come in and kind of self-sabotage myself is knowing what I need to do, but then afraid like I'll forget it for some magical reason and then like trying to get it done.
Yeah. So we would just kind of want to automate that so you don't have to use the brain space because you're actually wanting to keep up the house. So this is great.
There's a lot of other things I don't want to do. Have I mentioned homeschooling?
Yes. Well, I was going to dive into that one next. What makes it hard to start the homeschooling?
To be honest, I mean, I love everything about homeschooling. Like I said, I was homeschooled. I think it's just not naturally, and I know homeschool moms everywhere. I'm sorry. Forgive me for saying this, but I am not naturally a teacher, I would say,
Neither am I.
in this way. I used to be a personal trainer, so I consider myself like I love to train, I love to teach people new things.
Just not necessarily schoolwork.
Yeah, but not schoolwork. And like I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I start things, and so I feel like my creative space is in thinking about business and advertising and marketing stuff. It's not in
the homeschool
math or whatever, language arts, even though I love writing. It's not my best.
It's totally
not
where
I'm my best.
It's not the same for me. And it seems like the homeschool stereotype, at least, is that is where the mom pours her creativities, all the lesson plans and all the unit studies and all the things. And it's like, I switched my major out of elementary education on purpose to get away from that because I don't like it.
No. Okay. That is very comforting.
Good. Because I always viewed it as a failing. I'm like, I am much better with routines and systems. So depends what your curriculum is, but I found one thing I liked for each kid. And then I tended to buy just the same thing year after year, as long as it kept on working, and said, this is the minimum. This is your reading, writing, and arithmetic, whatever. Here is how you can go through it and do it as independently as possible. So I will give you the 5-minute math explanation before you start the lesson if you're at the age when you need, it's learning subtracting for the first time. How do you carry? What in the world is this? Let me give you a 5-minute tutorial and then have you go do stuff. And then I will grade it when you turn it back. I'm not sitting there hunting up how to teach subtracting, Oh
my God.
I'm viewing it as the people who wrote the curriculum knew what they were doing. So let it do its job. My job is the tutor and the grader.
Okay.
Preferably the least amount of tutoring possible, but
Yes. Yes. No, if we could afford it, I mean, I'm like, I would have a tutor come in and do the core stuff, and then I can be the fun mom. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fun teacher mom.
Yeah. So I would try to tweak your homeschool curriculum or else the way you're doing it, if at all possible, so you don't feel like you are teaching it. You feel like it is teaching it for you. And if your kid just comes back and says, Mom, I read it, I don't really get this. And then your version of teaching is like talking them through the example problems and stuff like that. Do you see how they did this here? You're not having to come up with it on the fly. You're just reading out what they've already written as an explanation, because some of the auditory learners and stuff, they just need to hear it. And they didn't really work to read it, is what I found. And if that means you need to get different curriculum or something more online or video based, whatever, but play with it so that you feel confident the curriculum is kind of doing the teaching for your kids. You're just being the quick read aloud help, because a lot of times with, half my kids get it the first time, the other half don't. Once I read aloud the examples that were right there, in the math lesson, they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. And then if necessary, I do a couple problems with them, walking them through, okay, 11, take away 8, and 3, take away A, and so on and so forth. And then the higher math is not too bad because they often have practice problems or easier skill set
Right.
ones. And then you send them off and say, just do that. Don't do the whole page, just do that portion. Come back. I will grade this mini portion to make sure you're on the right track. Then they don't feel like they wasted the entire day doing something that they got wrong.
Right.
And if they're still not on the right track, you go back to the examples and redo it.
Okay.
And then same for, language arts or something. Do you understand these grammar rules? You feel like you've got it? No. Okay. Should I read all of the examples to you about where you put in commas and where you don't? And then you can go off and tell them to do the first 4 things on the page. It's building in those little pre-checking breaks.
Okay.
At least that majorly helped my kids for frustration levels of we got too much wrong, and then it helped me not to feel like I was just trying to teach everything.
That's good. That's a good, no. And because my oldest she was struggling with reading early on. And so this is the first year where she's like very confident in reading.
Yeah. Something about like that whole, now they're 9, they're good with it.
Yeah.
They're not learning anymore. Same for my 9-year-old.
So that's taken off a weight. So I like the pre-check-in.
Yes.
Because actually just today we were doing math and I sent her away with a whole sheet. And then when she came back and I was like, oh, no, and no. And, and I was like, oh, I should have done this differently, because.
Well, it took us a lot of years to come up with that, but it has worked very well to reframe since.
I like that.
Then I'm guessing your 5-year-old is not in the whole thing. So that kind of is hands-on teaching time if that's kindergarten-ish, but usually it didn't take me more like 30 minutes. Like, okay, let's run through some counting practice and some alphabets and some, money and clocks. So like that can be just a tiny segment of the homeschool day.
Yes. Yeah, she really isn't. And she's super fast. I mean, we're doing like the fun math, right? Like here I'm like 3rd grade math is so hard. No, it's but kindergarten math is so great. Like we're playing with pattern blocks and stuff like that. So yeah, she and obviously the 3-year-old are not, it's just not very heavy time. It's really the 2 older ones. So
yeah. So I think some of that might help if we can find a way to lean on the curriculum, and that would be really nice.
Yeah. No, that is good. Okay. What do you, or go ahead.
No, I was going to change topics. So if you've still got another question, let's finish that one.
Well, what do you do on, like those days, like you have blocked time for, this is your school time. Like if they are going, if they're just having a day, you're having a day and they needed more outdoor time, but they still haven't finished. Do you just kind of let them, like, how do you not let that intrude on your time of like, mommy's cleaning right now. This is my 20 minutes or whatever. And they're still working on something, or I've tried to time block something else and they're still not done. That makes sense.
I'm very upfront with them about this is mommy's time to do XYZ, or my brain is tired. I can't help you with that. So if you want to go and use your afternoon time working on schoolwork, that's fine. But mommy is not going to grade it till after nap time.
Okay.
Also, if you need to actually just let them take the day off or the rest of the day off instead of finishing set the boundaries for your time blocks. But if you need to delay, that's why we like semi-year-round homeschooling. So we don't take the entire 3 or 4 month break in the summer. That way you have the room to just be like, shoot, we're done.
Yes.
And that way it just kind of takes care of itself within a relaxed way instead of saying, oh, we have to count all the school days and we're, running behind. We're like, no. As long as we finish the school book, by July's to start in August, we're good.
Okay, cool. No, that's cool. That's a good idea.
And then I know you mentioned the work hours multiple times. So I think it's a great idea, obviously, to leave your phone with all the text to a more specific time block. So you feel like you're honoring the education in one spot, and then you're doing kind of like nonprofit work in another spot. Do you have consistent times a day when you're doing that, or is that something? Okay.
No, not at all. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Okay.
When I say it out loud, I'm like, you're an idiot, Hannah.
Oh no, we don't want to call people idiots because you are not. You are very talented.
I'll call myself one, but that's okay. Yeah, no, I don't. I wish
Okay.
I did.
Well, I agree with you can start getting up earlier now with the past the breastfeeding. That's a very nice phase in life to get back to. We might see how that's working to get up at 6:30. And if your kids are getting up to 7:15 to 7:30, I know it takes some time to get up, but 30 or 45 minutes or something in the morning can feel like you made some progress on that.
Okay.
The other thing I usually lean on is that nap time block.
Okay.
And I tell all the other kids, this is your quiet time. You do not have to do chores. You do not have to do schoolwork. Like, this is the fun of homeschooling. You can take the afternoon and just go play.
Okay.
So they are not supposed to be coming to you for things. Littlest is down. That is a solid chunk of work time.
Okay. And so that's my like biggest question right now is my sweet little baby is coming out of nap time, like out of that
Yes.
season. So we've been in transition for the last few weeks, but
Mhm.
the last 2 weeks, I mean, she will be up till at least 10 p.m. if I give her like any type of a nap. And so, I
Mhm.
mean, we've been going like 3, 4 days without a nap. And then, the fifth day, she's like, she's got to have it. And we just kind of
Yes.
suffer through our evening. But, so I'm kind of losing that time. And so yesterday I was trying a quiet time. And again, we have never done like quiet time just because, I don't know, they were all so little for so long and I just never had a habit, like again, just I didn't have a habit of they're just always with me and I should have like, hey, you go do this. So we did do it yesterday and or Monday and they actually seemed like they appreciated it. So I'm just trying to like ideas for the 3-year-old because I just kind of let them play with her, but then I was like, hey, you can't come to mommy. So like, how do you
Yes.
handle that with like littles?
Yes. Well, all the older ones, I send off to the rooms outside. Little one, I say this is quiet time. If they say no, we don't call it nap time, that's fine. We call it whatever she wants to call it.
Okay.
But she's in her room with the door shut, not allowed to come out till a certain time with
Okay.
toys that she will not destroy. So if she has a habit of
Okay.
ripping books, we don't give her books. If she's good with books, she gets to have books. It can be even the whole pre-nap time ritual of, okay, it's time to go pick your toys for quiet time.
Okay.
Or unless you store something in her room for her. So yes, ours doesn't nap most of the time either, but being in the room with the doors closed means she has the opportunity to go flop down in her bed if she is tired. And
Okay.
then it's like, okay, naturally you were tired. We don't have to mess with that. We're not forcing you to sleep, but you sleep when you need to. And she's getting time away from her siblings to recharge and, play and doesn't have to share whatever toys she took into her room.
Right.
So they've usually thought it was kind of fun in that sense because they got to reserve XYZ
Yeah.
toy blocks for the entire afternoon.
So funny.
So you're
Yes.
just treating it like nap time, except that the house, it won't be dead quiet because she's still awake clinking with toys.
Right.
But the point is, she's not interrupting you and she's not getting rowdy with the siblings. So actually it doesn't make too much of a difference.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know we had some fights come up.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, why is this called quiet time?
Yeah. Split up as much as possible.
Okay. 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 Yeah. No, my son definitely appreciated it, which I was the most surprised about. But he's outnumbered by sisters. So
Mhm.
I think he was like, oh, this is great. Like
Yeah.
they are not around. Tell me what to do. So cool.
Yes. And then if you have any more time, evening or pre-supper that you find naturally works, you can do more business work. Or if you feel like, no, now I need to grade anything else that didn't get done, that's your overflow homeschooling time, or supper prep's going to take longer tonight, need to start it early, or we want a family walk. It just depends what you want that post-nap time, pre-supper time to look like and what you need there. If you
Okay.
want another cleaning routine that by, after the end of the afternoon, there is stuff everywhere, then say squirrel
Yeah.
time again. Let's go run around the house and pick stuff up,
Okay. I usually
whatever
let
you
them
need.
I let them do that in the afternoon.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's good.
yeah. No, I don't. Yeah. I don't like actually picking up things. I like cleaning,
Yeah, cleaning, not tidying. Yeah.
up. That's satisfying to me, not picking Lego. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, Hannah, and letting us have a peek inside your life.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for listening. And yeah, I love your advice. I appreciate it.
And thanks for letting our listeners see what it looks like to practically deal with distractions, get done things that we want to as moms, and homeschooling lots of kids and nonprofits and all of that. I think that is going to be such a gift. And I hope these new routines, strategies, ideas make a huge difference for your day.
They will. I appreciate it.
And remember, to our listeners, if you want calls like this every week, but tailored to you and your problems, just fill out this quick application to get started working with me, because I want you to be an amazing work-at-home mom and actually be able to get everything done. So let's make sure you truly love your work-at-home mom life. Head on over to the link I've included below and let's do this. That's all for now. Have a wonderful day.